I think about my granddad from time to time, and I would say, "Hey, would you like to go for a walk?" "No, I don't think so." "Hey, would you like to go to town to do X, Y, and Z?" "No, I don't think so." And I didn't understand when I was a kid why those answers were reflective. I thought maybe he's too tired, maybe his health is out, or he just didn't have the energy to do it. But now that I've gotten a lot older, my grandfather's passed, I now understand what he was really talking about. What he's talking about is, why would I do it? What's in it for me? Is it accretive to my own self-worth? Is it accretive to what I want in life? Or is it just something that's just another trip that I've done 1,000 times before and there's no need to do it again? What I'm talking about is the oil and gas industry in the United States. They have gone through the greatest iterations of change of any industry that I know of. See, what I noticed is that in 1985, when I started my career, oil and gas was based on vertical drilling, hit or miss, 2D seismic. Then all of a sudden we started hitting and missing based on 3D seismic, but the percentage got better. And then we realized 3D seismic wasn't doing it, so oil prices skyrocketed, supply went down because we drilled a lot of dry holes in the United States. 4,400 drilling rigs active in 1982. We were down to about 214 drilling rigs in the middle of COVID. We've seen iterations between $9 a barrel up to $145 a barrel. We've seen natural gas as low as 96 cents an MCF back in 1985 to as high as almost $14 per MCF during seasonal changes. So when you think about oil and gas in the United States, you think what drives these major companies like Chevron, Exxon, ConocoPhillips, Diamondback, and you ask, why is it they did not ramp up their drilling activity during the last 120 days when the price of oil skyrocketed due to the Iranian war, the Straits of Hormuz being shut down, and all the things that wrapped around this global dilemma, which was the inefficiency of supply for crude oil across all nations and all end users? Why did the U.S. producers not add 50, 100, 200 drilling rigs? Because they're like my granddad. They learned their lesson years ago. They learned they wanted to be more responsible based on mature thinking. They also knew that there was a high probability the information was temporary, not long-term. And they decided, what we're going to do is we're going to trust our gut instincts. Every time we've ramped up to respond to a supply deficiency or an increase in demand, we've been wiped out. We go spend a lot of money, we hire rigs, we pay more costs, we compete, our services go up, our cost of capital goes up, we stretch our balance sheet to try to deliver the very crude oil and the natural gas, the LNG that everyone needs, and we get repaid by a crushing decrease in the value of the product that we produce. This time, no one bought into it. Not one oil company that I know of said, let's go add more rigs because the price of oil is going through the roof and there's a war in Iran. Drill, baby, drill turned out to be drill, don't drill, baby, because it's not going to stay. It's not sustainable. And we were right. Here we are today. The President of the United States says, what I want is oil from all over the world. I want cheap oil and gas, and I want low energy costs because it helps all the economies grow. We understand that. That's your job to run the country. Our job is to run our businesses according to what makes our shareholders, our partners, the most money. The United States shale producers are very simple. We have oceans of oil in these shale basins. We know what it costs to drill them. We know what it costs to produce them. We know our inventory. We know how many future wells we think we have based on the leases and mineral ownership that we have. We know that our greatest job is to prudently produce the oil and gas we have in the reserves, in the ground, on the minerals and ownership that we have, and do it based on timing and market value. Don't care what the president asks for. Don't care what the customer wants. Don't really care if the customer's paying $5 a gallon or paying $2 a gallon. What I have to think about, what the oil and gas industry in the United States thinks about is, if we don't prudently and we don't economically and we don't effectively look at long-term preservation of the value of our companies, you talk about a cataclysmic cliff in terms of supply and demand if the United States does not prudently monitor and savor every barrel of oil and every dollar we can to make sure we're a sustainable industry for the next 50 to 150 years or longer. So we're acting in the best interest of our country. We're acting in the best interest of our consumers, you, those who burn oil and gas every day. And what we decided is, as a group, not collectively, we didn't meet in a room in Switzerland, all come up with the same idea. We just all have been through the same historical abuse we've had for the last 15 years of oil high, oil low, green energy, oil's bad, pollutes the planet, don't give them loans, don't give them money, they're the evil devil, to now all of a sudden, where are you guys? Why don't you give us the extra 13 to 20 million barrels a day that we need because the Straits of Hormuz was shut down? And our answer is, because we've been beaten before, we know what to do, we know how to preserve our company, we know how to preserve our reserves, And we now to keep doing what we've been doing for the last 20 years, which has become the #1 oil producer in the world. 13.8 million barrels a day every single day. We don't have a Strait of Hormuz. We don't have a choke point. In fact, we're exporting oil to other buyers across the globe where the Middle East can't survive. What this industry has done, what this industry has provided for this country, is the most accessible, lowest cost source of energy anywhere in the world. Oil and gas produced by American producers. You take that and you combine it with what's going on in the economy and all the growth we expect from AI and data centers and all the growth in manufacturing and transportation and housing. This country is consuming 21 million barrels a day. When we add another million or 2 million barrels a day, demand's going to go up by another million or 2 million barrels a day. We will always be a net importer of crude oil. We will always be efficient and prudent with the reserves that we have. But today, as there's chaos and calamity and geopolitical risk all over the world, the one thing the U.S. oil and gas producer is going to do is we're going to preserve our economy and our country by making sure that we prudently develop our assets in a timely manner for the best interest for long-term value for our companies, our shareholders, our partners, and American public. That's what we do here in America, U.S. oil and gas.